Hey guys, this is Raju Rahman from Tectonic. Recently I got the Galaxy Z Fold 3, which I'm really excited for, and I've been using the Z Fold 2 for about a year now. So what I want to see is, has there been an improvement in performance? So if you've seen my speed test videos in the past, then you'll know I tend to run these different tests. I've got bookmarks, Chrome bookmarks here to different websites just to see which one launches and renders first. I've got some app shortcuts. We'll see which one launches first, some game shortcuts to see which one loads first, and then various other tests like an Ookla speed test, just for the sake of it. We can see which one performs better over Wi-Fi. We've got an Androbench speed test. Now both of these devices use UFS 3.1 storage, so on paper they should be the same, but we'll see if there's any difference. And of course we'll run a Geekbench 5 speed test as well. So both these devices are pretty much the same in terms of specs. I mean, you've got a few differences in terms of the graphics, but both of these devices have 12 gigabytes of RAM. Both of them are UFS 3.1. Obviously Snapdragon 865 on the Z Fold 2 and Snapdragon 888 on the Z Fold 3. The Z Fold 2 had Wi-Fi 6, whereas the Z Fold 3 also has Wi-Fi 6, but the E variant of it. So if you know anything about Wi-Fi, you'll know that one opens up the 6 GHz band. But regardless, even though you're using 6E on the Z Fold 3 and Wi-Fi 6 on the Z Fold 2, it shouldn't matter because my router is Wi-Fi 6 anyway, so that's that's going to be the bottleneck. So the first thing we'll do is power these off, and what we'll do is boot up test just to see which one turns on first. So yeah, let's get these powered off. Excuse all the fingerprints, obviously there's a lot more fingerprints and smudges on the Z Fold 2, but that's because I've been using it for a lot longer. So yeah, both these devices are powered off. Just make sure that I've got the buttons underneath my finger. And yeah, but I definitely pushed them down at the same time. But the Z Fold 3 reacted slightly later. Anyways, which one do you think is going to start first? As expected, or as I expected, and I'm sure you guys did too, the Z Fold 3 started first. Okay, so I'm going to quickly put my pin in, and I'll cut this out of the video because obviously I don't want you guys to see my pin. Right, let's close this up and we'll do a camera launch speed test. One, two, three. That was the Z Fold 2. But again, literally a second or so. Right, let's open these up and get on with the remaining tests. I always have to align the phones up, otherwise it really annoys me. Okay, so the brightness should be the same on both devices. Yeah, let's just put it to the middle so you guys can still view everything on the camera. All right, so just to keep the browser test fair, I've cleared the cache, the cookies, and all the browsing data. So yeah, let's start off with the Verge. I mean, that was pretty much both at the same time. Let's do Engadget. Again, it was the same time. CNET. And that looked like it was the Z Fold 3. It loaded up all the adverts and rendered the whole website as a whole first. Right, let's move on to applications. So let's start off with Netflix. Had to be that page first, right? Looks like it was the Z Fold 2. Let's try YouTube. Looks like it was the Z Fold 3. Amazon Shopping. Z Fold 3. IMDb. What do you guys think? I think that was pretty much the same, wasn't it? Crunchyroll. Clearly the Z Fold 3. But again, the difference is very minimal. You can almost say it's negligible, right? Okay, let's move on to the games. Mario Run. That was the Z Fold 3 first. Temple Run. Z Fold 3 first. Skyforce Reloaded.
Nice to see you again. You know the drill. Touch the screen. Touch the screen. Move your finger.
That was the Z Fold 3. So let's move on to the next set of speed tests. I'm going to run the Ookla speed test first. Of course, I'll run it on one device at a time for this particular test. We'll go with the Z Fold 2 first. Right, now let's do the Z Fold 3. So yeah, the Z Fold 3 is definitely faster on this internet or Wi-Fi speed test. Now let's move on to Androbench. So I'm not going to read through every single result. You can pause and have a look at that if you want. But if we look at the sequential read speed, we can see the Z Fold 3 did better. It got 1,865 MB a second, whereas the Z Fold 2 got 1,603 MB a second. In terms of sequential write speed, the Z Fold 2 got 722 MB a second, and the Z Fold 3 got a sequential write speed of 773 MB a second. So again, the Z Fold 3 has done slightly better. Now let's move on to the final test, Geekbench. We'll run a CPU benchmark first. So the Z Fold 3 finished first. We can see clearly the Z Fold 3's scored higher. So it got a single core score of 1,123, whereas the Z Fold 2 got a single core score of 953. The Z Fold 3 got a multi-core score of 3,367, whereas the Z Fold 2 got a multi-core score of 2,987. Now we can move on to the next test, and that's the compute benchmark. So once again, the Z Fold 3 has finished first, and it's got a higher score of 4,633, whereas the Z Fold 2 got a score of 3,549. So what do these tests tell me, and what have I learned from it? When it comes to benchmark tests like the Ookla speed test and Androbench and Geekbench 5, clearly the Z Fold 3 is much better. You can see on paper it performs much better than the Z Fold 2. But when it comes to normal usage, using the phone as you normally would, launching the browser and opening up a certain website, or launching a particular application or game, the differences are very minimal, if there is any. Things are very similar even after a year, but that's not anything to be disappointed about. I think both devices are really fast, and you just got to take it as it is, right? On paper, the Z Fold 3 is much faster. Otherwise, they're both pretty much the same. This has been Raju Rahman from Tectonic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you, please subscribe and like. That would really help me out. And don't forget to check out these other videos too.